Today in Sports Report, mixed martial arts, the winner of the super fight Boranbayev Kechegen was fixed before the appointed time. The starting fighting year was boosted with such a large number of MMA tournaments never taking place before. The fighting club Alash Pride, besides preliminaries, another international project was launched in the framework of which 4 stages have already taken place. In this quartet, the tournament was special and interesting, as in the fight of the night, the Russian, one of the 3 brothers of the Kechegen, Grigory and Adil Boranbayev met, who just several months ago knocked out the well-known fighter Vinir Galiev. I think Adil Boranbayev is a star and champion. He's really the best in the Alash Pride. Before I just watched his fights, and now I'm invited to fight with him. I really didn't expect it, and I'm very glad that I was invited to perform with such a famous rival. We have mixed martial arts. That is why there is no difference how to work on the ground or in standing. We work on all aspects. If the opponent offers struggle, we will of course fight. If he wants to be standing, so we'll have to fight. My opponent is a good fighter. He fights well, and he is the champion of Russia in wrestling. I think we'll demonstrate a good and showy performance. Before the main duel of the night, the fans watched several exciting confrontations, in one of which Kristiv Spartan Muratidi and Sirash Shindin, Turkmen Tiger, Abdukaumov met. We should notice that the fight was very important for Muratidi. As in the last 2 tournaments held by Alash Pride on which he performed, he lost to Krista. This time, the Kazakhstani sportsman was fully confident and won. I'm 100% ready. All of us trained hard, and I had a long break. I didn't fight in Kazakhstan for a long time. My last fight took place last year on the 31st of December. The main duel of the night got started carefully. It was clear that Boranbayev and Kechegen have learned each other very well and would try to maximize effectiveness. Adil, having a good experience, was the favorite in this duel, but Grigory, despite his youth, has already managed to express himself as a prospective fighter. Boranbayev had a good advantage during the meeting, but then got a serious dissection, and Kechegen won with a TKO. Despite the number of the tournaments being held, promotion of MMA in our country does not have such dynamics of growth as in Russia, Brazil, and China. Nevertheless, the work on promotion of this type of sport has been held in all directions. So the titled personal coach of Sergei Kharitonov, Ildar Kenkirli, held a masterclass for the representatives of some of Almaty's clubs in the southern capital.
Он тренер по ММА уже полностью квалификация, у него чистый тренер по ММА. Он уже знает, например, в боксе уже когда бьешь.
He is a professional coach in MMA. There are some nuances in boxing which are not suitable for MMA. He knows very many details, and we perform for the promotion of MMA in our country, so that Kazakhstan could become famous in all promotions, and there are about 100 all over the world. Today we invited the representatives of 10 clubs for a free masterclass for our fighters.
Около 10 клубов сегодня пришло. Бесплатный мастер-класс попросили для наших бойцов сделать.
The sportsmen of the club, Alash Pride, also had one day of training in cooperation with a well-known specialist. It is very important for the future development of the fighters, as just 3 representatives of the Kazakhstani team have contracts with the world promotion, 1FC. 3 fighters of Alash Pride signed a contract with the organization 1FC. They are Murod Hanturayev in the category to 93 kilos, Kuat Hamitov. He has a debut on the 22nd of May with the undefeated American. It is going to be a serious fight. There you can't choose who to fight with. A well-known Russian among the amateurs of MMA, Sergei Zavilisky, also is together with Ken Kerli in Almaty, who is training to perform in a stellar battle in the framework of the project Fight Night. If they follow my recommendations, I guarantee that in 2016 in all continents, except Australia and Antarctica, and in other ones, the tournaments of Alash Pride will be broadcasted. Sergei Zavilinsky also performs as a promoter, and he has a contract with more than 70 fighters. The experience of such a specialist will certainly help the Kazakhstani club.
Вообще казахский спорт достаточно перспективный.
In general, the Kazakhstani sport is quite perspective, and there are many trained and good fighters. The guys have spirit, but they have limited experience so far. Someone needs management, the other one needs food, and the next one needs a good coach. But all of this is nonsense. The most important thing is spirit. I think in 2 to 3 years, the number of such fighters as Gennady Golovkin will be more in Kazakhstan.
Геннадий Головкин. В Казахстане будет намного больше.
Now the management of the club Alash Pride is completing its negotiations about the holding of the following tournament, in which the main duel of the night is going to be between Rasul Mirzayev and Erlan Klyumbetov.
Опыт больших боев уже есть, но в клетке все равно обстановка чуть другая.
The experience of big fights exists, but the situation in the cage is different all the same. The work in the octagon differs from the work in tatami, because there are some limits in the cage. But in tatami there are no limits and the rules differ. I had to adjust to these rules and I could do it. Klyumbetov, a young and very prospective representative of the team, came to MMA as a serious sportsman. He is a 2-time champion of the world on combat jiu-jitsu among adults, and he became the best twice in the world among juniors.
Когда мне третий бой предложили с Расулом Мирзаевым, я уже как бы не думая согласился.
When I was offered the third fight with Rasul Mirzayev, I didn't think it over and agreed at once, because he is a strong and experienced fighter. He has had a great career as an amateur and professional. The fight with him will give the experience of 5 to 6 duels. This fight is very necessary for me. It is not clear yet if the Black Tiger is ready to accept the fight with the Kazakhstani champion, but Erlan Klyumbetov is training hard for the duel. I had no possibilities to learn his fights yet, although I saw him in real life, but I didn't work on his mistakes. He is a pushy fighter. I also like changing with punches. I like to arrange cutting. I think it will be exciting to work with him. Nobody can predict if Klyumbetov will be able to take revenge over Mirzayev, who has already won another Kazakhstani sportsman, Yerzhan Istanov, twice. But we can confirm that the duel will be exciting and bright.
The history of athleticism is deeply rooted in antiquity. Exercises with weights and body weight aimed at improving health, increasing strength and muscle were popular in ancient Greece and the Roman Empire, where the cult of the body beautiful, physical perfection, was all raised to unprecedented heights. Today's bodybuilding takes pride of place among sports. Research teams and entire industries make up the bodybuilding industry. This type of sport is the subject of much scientific research. A great number of special sporting institutions also work all over the world. Various colourful bodybuilding shows enjoy wide popularity among a broad section of the population. Taking into consideration the fact that during the Soviet Union it was forbidden to even pronounce such words as bodybuilding or bodybuilder, our officials decided to get out of this situation. They decided to call it gymnastics. Can you imagine 100-kilo men with biceps of more than 50 centimeters, and they were called gymnasts? From this moment, exactly from 1987, it started developing.
Вот с этого момента, с 1987 года и пошло развитие.
Talap Imataliyev, the General Secretary of the Federation of Bodybuilding and Fitness, knows the history of the beginning of Kazakhstani athleticism. A hard way has been passed for 23 years of independence.
Тренировались все. Зайти было просто по очереди заходили.
Everyone trained. It was easy to join. Nowadays the fitness clubs are empty. It's difficult to call the youth. In our generation we were just big fans. In addition, the movies of Arnold Schwarzenegger, Conan the Barbarian, were shown. After watching these films, 20-year-old guys trained in the clubs every day and night. We lived in the clubs, we performed, and it was just very exciting. Thanks to bodybuilding, which helped to develop the fitness industry of the whole of Kazakhstan. In the late 20th and 21st centuries, the state of the national sport stagnated. Growth practically stopped, and it was difficult to talk about the development of any type of sport. Talap Imataliyev, Secretary General of the Federation of Bodybuilding and Fitness.
А мы начинали, значит, самодельные тренажеры.
When we started, there were homemade exercise machines, homemade dumbbells, homemade benches, basements, 2 showers, but the gym was full of people. As they say, forbidden fruit is sweet, and perhaps that's why our generation grew up on a culture of physicality and sport.
Просто физкультуре на спорте.
The level of sportsmen and coaches improved step by step. The first tournaments and championships were held, and official development started.
Естественно, проводить чемпионаты Казахстана, потом ездили на чемпионаты Азии и мира. Так как мы молодое государство, для нас это очень...
To hold the Kazakhstani championship, we had to first visit the championships of Asia and the world. As you know, for a young state, it was a new type of sport. Of course, we had to collect information about this type of sport. We visited the Baltic, Europe, and we brought different kinds of literature, food additives, amino acids, and vitamins. It's a type of sport that requires enormous financial investment. The Kazakhstani sportsmen soon became trendsetters and undisputed leaders in the Asian regions. But they didn't win immediately at the world level.
Много мы подготовили многих мастеров спорта, мастеров международного класса.
Bodybuilders, masters of an international class, were trained. Our boys and girls were the champions of Asia, but unfortunately there were no world champions. But this year we finally became a world fitness champion. Dania Kliumbetova became a world champion. It's our best result. Before it, of course, we had several Asian champions, where our fitness team was considered one of the best in Asia. And today we crossed the final threshold. Our opinion is taken into consideration around the world. Dania Kliumbetova is the first world champion in Kazakhstan in the category model physique. The athlete could become not only the best in Asia, but also won a long-expected world gold medal for our country. Originality of bodybuilding is that it helps to provide harmonious and complex development of the whole body, not just separate muscle groups like in other types of sport. Another advantage of the discipline is that it can be done by anybody of any age and any sex. This sport is able to solve many physical, mental and emotional problems. Bodybuilding exercises are directed to improve the shape of the body. They make us strong, physically, and balance the state of mind. They give us confidence and calm, and they can even change the character and viewpoints.
Поэтому работы вот, очень много, и просто я рад, что молодежь, опять-таки, да, сейчас поворачивается, понимает.
That's why there's a lot of work to do. Young people get interested in this type of sport. They understand that in addition to learning maths and foreign languages, it's also necessary to do sport and be healthy. The second wave is coming. Fitness clubs are full of young people now, and they will be healthy and strong, and we'll be here to support them. Because of the fast pace of modern life, the amount of physical and mental illnesses have been increasing. And in the near future, the world will have to accept the necessity of systematic physical training and sport. Therapeutic therapy is one of the basic principles of bodybuilding, and is only likely to gain in importance with increasing everyday stress. The content of necessity of muscle development is approved all over the world, and bodybuilding will spread rapidly. Its principles include regular training, recuperation, and proper feeding will be the principles of life.